Hello, my friends, and welcome. I'm Kate in the Nest, and this is a midweek video. It's very hot here today. We were just in the car and it was reading 42 degrees Celsius, but I know some of you in the States are snowbound. So it's just a reminder that wherever and whenever we are doing our slow stitching, just to be mindful of each other and I suppose celebrate the differences and the fact that we can all be the same here. So midweek means I actually haven't got anything particularly fresh for you, although sometimes I do. I thought I went out to the studio, to Open Studio at Green Door yesterday, and I was going to show you what I took with me in my craft bag, but in the end it was so big because I actually took the tote out. So after that big exercise, I thought I'd actually stick with one project for you today. So this is an update on my Husswif, which is part of the Wellington collection, and she's changed shape since you last saw her. So if you want to see and just have my company, please relax, get something to do, and let's get into it. So the idea on this piece, I buried her sister, so I can't show you if you haven't watched the first video, is that I want something for this trip that I can slip in my bag on the plane and have my things ready to go. And I always say, yes, I've got others that I could reuse, but for me, part of the thrill of travel is just making things to go. So this Husswif is a foldable piece that opens out. Now, she has progressed quite a lot, but I want to say that this is where, when I make my mini makes with Scrappy Bits, you can save yourself time, and especially if you're not feeling creative, just get instant joy. So what I've done on the top here is, this was a mini make with Scrappy Bits that you might recognize. I haven't put her all down yet, and she's sticking out because we might make a nice edging there, but that was just a piece of blanket that I cut out a flower. There's a little bit of vintage feed sack quilting from Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. She's popping up everywhere. That was Michelle's as well, I think, or anyway, they're all my little bits. I wanted to needlebook, and this again is the same blanket, but just a tiny bit. I think we started to stitch that little piece of embroidery on last time. I edged her there with a piece of this leftover vintage quilt bit just for that side, and then left this bit plain. So the idea is that my needles, oh, how unusual that I've actually got needles with thread in them, can go in there and just be waiting for me. So if necessary, I could just be stitching, get a needle, sorry, you know what's happening, and keep on going. I left this side open. I did have a needle packet that I was going to demonstrate for some spare needles, a packet if necessary. And then, here, of course, it's a little bit long. Someone asked me at the studio what needles I like to use. I do like, well, I'm just a follower of Fleur, to be honest. Fleur recommends chenille needles, which these ones have large eyes for threading and sharp points. So these are size 22, and I go up to 18. So I vary between 18s and 22. You can buy mixed packets, but I thought for the trip that could just always go in there, and I would have a spare set of needles. Of course, I'd need to cut it down further, but that works. But when I was stitching this on last night, Did I? Oh, yeah. I left that bit. See, I'm into pockets. Hello, Mary. I know you're getting into pockets too. I left that bit open. So it's just taking our journaling ideas to slow stitching, and I think that's even better. So I don't have to worry about going in there. I've got a packet of needles and I could leave that like that and I would know. So all of that is pretty, and I want to embellish that. So that's that level. Then we open her up, and some of this will be new and some you will have seen before. I had this vintage beautiful soft organic cotton that I bought back from India, and I wanted to make that a frill. It went down straight, so I want to put another layer over that. This was the bit of vintage quilt. So I've got a really very much a quilty, like bits of quilt as the basis of this work. And this was the long strip of the one that Missy gave me at Christmas time. And da-da-da-da, there they are. My travel snips are snugly in there, and they didn't come out, and they're just always in there. So you may remember that I want to use those on the plane, and if they happen to take those, I also have this thread cutter which could go in. So I made 3 pockets. This one's hidden. I'll get to that in a minute. This butterfly I've been harvesting. This piece has got a whole story to it, which I will share in relation to some of my other work. But I have an absolute delight in something that's sad that happened to this piece that wasn't mine but was gifted to me, and now I'm using the flowers and the butterflies absolutely everywhere. So I was thinking that was plain, so I'm going to put that butterfly on there, and the butterfly, like my symbol of butterflies flying, that was my transformation, and they're always leaving their flowers and going off to other gardens. So this butterfly on top of here, and a little bit onto our needlebook keeper and into this garden. So she's flying up there. So you can see that lots of opportunity for more embellishing, and that's what I like. This is a project in itself as I travel. Here's the funny little cupcake that saved me from making another one. So that's ready for needles, for pins, sorry. And I can put them across ways, I can put them underneath, and I like them to be a nice color. So if they're going across the ocean, look at that beautiful, I think I got this blanket in New Zealand about this time last year. Oh, look at that, crooked pin, can't do those. So let's have beautiful pearl pins and a pink one. So they're there, and there's a frill which I would like to add to. And keeping on going with the Mini Makes with Scrappy Bits theme, here is another piece. So you've probably seen these pop up a couple of times, and I've said, will I put them on here? Will I put them on there? But for me, I was looking for a zippered little container, or an idea like this one. Remember I said I wanted to show you this and I didn't bring it down. This little flappy purse, I take my a pink and an ecru and you know, a colored cotton with me. If I just in my purse, yes, you can see that that's an earring, quite handy, and some pins up there. So that is like a little travel tiny thing. I was thinking like that with a zipper, but of course I changed my mind, saw this, and so far I have put it down that side, along the bottom and across the top. Now I may turn this. What's the word turn? Don't mean close it. Tie it, that was the word. I haven't got that far yet, but it's got velvet in, velvet. See, I'm getting overly excited because I did work this last night, and it's nice to come back the day after and go, oh, okay, I just still like that. This here is a bit of a story in itself, in that's the original soft tied piece of quilt that I got from somewhere. It's so soft, and look at that. I looked up how to tie quilts the other day. This is just pinned on. It's a little remnant from the same piece as the butterflies, because this little strip was a bit plain. Here's some of my favorite leaf and flower, but I haven't popped that down, and last night I had some mustard wool in my needle, so I just started to embellish that. So there we are, that's her in full length. So the top, and it is good to sort of look from above, so I can see that this gold at the moment is a little bit clashy, not clashy, but it stands out as a bit different. So I will be working to bring some more of that mustardy gold in, which I've done there, and I'll probably put this down with a color that sort of blends a little bit more. We'll do that together. So da-da-da-da. That's her so far. So, and I lengthened, I added that piece on, so that let me fold it in thirds. You might know this was a little bit squishy last time, so I'm much more comfortable now with that. So, things to be done. And I was thinking about, do I tie that? But I think that's okay. We'll leave that as it is at the moment. So I'll show you the back. I want to cover this, and I haven't thought about that yet, but possibilities. That's too pale. My trusty chenille, little fringe on the back. It could be. I think I might want that for something else. So it'll be just a matter of, I could make another pocket. Actually, why don't I do that? And just pop that there. So even, this is something that I would want to not even go to the trouble of opening. We could do it that way. So I'm looking for the most contrast that goes. So, don't know, but you can see how that's complementary at this point. That's just an idea. Can never have enough pockets. Just looking over here. I think I showed you this for the pouch. Maybe two. Anyway, let's forget that rose. We'll come back to that. So like everything goes, but I will embellish that. And what else do I need to show you? Okay, this part now. That is this yummy, 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 squishy, gorgeous, adorable satin quilted bit of quilt. So I wanted her to be the hero, but she's a bit plain. So I'm thinking adding a piece like this. That's a cross stitch. I'm prepping for workshops, so this, I may have borrowed this from a kit at this point. But I've got plenty more, I hope. So I know this is white around here, so I'm going to trim it in really close. And I thought something like that, oh yeah, and see if it goes to the pocket, it continues the garden all the way around. And then that might, I'm excited about that pocket on the back. But let's get actually doing something. I take things in different forms. This is my little box that I took out yesterday, and I thought I showed it to Jane and the pin tucks. That's Jane's Instagram handle beside her hexagons, and the contrast was incredible, but I have tidied it since. So I've got that there. Here's my pink scissors, which match. I bought that little bit of, this is Cantha from India, not the black inside, but even something like that, pink upon pink. I mean, I wonder if I could just, oh, my needle threader. That's what's got to go, and I could put that on the string on the back. So you know me, layer upon layer. Just a thought. So you could even make one of those to go on the back. I know a number of you have said that you've got lots and lots and lots of projects on, and isn't that wonderful about when we watch YouTube videos, we get inspired to make something that we hadn't even thought of before. So I could have tea dyed this, but I didn't. And I could be using smaller scissors. So I think I've been telling you, I haven't been to a thrift store or opportunity op shop, as we call them here in Australia. I don't think since before India even. So that's a long time for me. And which has been fun, and I've been going through all my bits and pieces, but Zoe had a big lovely refresh of her store. It was the first open studio for the year, and so I did buy some things, and I've been busy making other things, so might be tomorrow I might do a video to share. In case you're wondering why I sound not tired and very, very excited, my work actually got cancelled today. So, and I found out yesterday, so that's why I stayed up late stitching last night when I ordinarily would have been prepping. And so I've been able to continue the creativity today. So you're getting me midweek with a sense of I'm always excited, but this feels like an absolute bonus. Now, many of you would be faster and better at this, and I know I'm worrying you in case I cut my finger. These scissors are very sharp, but I'm just trying to get a little bit closer in. The applique stitch will cover a lot of this white, and if it's worrying me later, I can just dab the little tea bag or little cloth with tea on it over the top. Oh, I'll colour it in, or knows what. So there we are. That's better. Let's put them over there. So we've got two ways that we could do it. We could lead with the pink and blue, which echoes. Oh, that's pretty, isn't it? And the yellow over there. This is torn. Doesn't worry me at all. Or we can go with that. I think he'd probably tell me to do that. So it's echoing, picking up. So we've got blue and green here against the red. So on the diagonal, that's speaking. My natural always would be to do that, but let's listen to what the colour, well, that's just not the colour wheel, it's just what I'm feeling today. Let's take that off because I'll get this down and then that might decide. I don't really want to cover up very much of the star, but not that you'll actually see that in its entirety. I just love touching this, I have to say, and that's, you know, what my work is about. That absolute joy of the different textiles. So now we've got cotton with cross stitch against satin with this beautiful, I can never remember the name of that, but you will know what I'm talking about, against the quilt. Okay, so let's start to get this down. What are we feeling like? Do pink. We could do, nope. We could do ecru. Nope. Nope. I feel this is in between. This is one of my own, sort of pinky, peachy, because I don't want the cream and I don't want to make too big a statement. So let's just go with this. I'm going to start sort of up on the top here. Did I do a knot? No, I didn't, because I want to sort of bring it through. So we've got the, it's not, what was I going to say? It's a funny feeling really when you've got satin against the cotton, so it's sort of unbalanced, but that creates the jaggedy effect that I really like. pretty. What am I trying to say? Just natural. So can you see that's a little bit of contrast without really calling attention to herself. This is why you need those, sometimes I accidentally have bought tapestry needles and they just have the blunt end, which is fit for purpose for tapestry. But here, going through this cotton, etc., you need a sharp point, but one that will hold the wool. So I'm not going to do all of this with you because it will take a while, but just so that you can get the idea. Sorry about the crinkles. I know the crinkle of my bangles makes a bit of noise on the wood. And I did celebrate by putting them on. I had to take quite a lot off to go to work last week, so I'm gradually putting them back on. So let's say, and in fact it's very me, we could go all the way around there, but I see all this space over here and I think, okay, we've been enough around the edge. Let's now go for a little wander in the garden with a little bit of running stitch, seed stitch basically, which is really just running stitch in any particular direction. So just a little bit more stitches to add texture. Let's go over here under those leaves. Up over there. Now, of course, you could invisibly stitch this down or tiny tack it. Whatever you're used to and makes you feel comfortable. And that way you would be absolutely sure that it would stay in position. And sometimes I deliberately don't go too close to the edge because I like that it's just been attached and will naturally fray. But of course you can, what's the official word for it? Needle turn it underneath if you don't like that effect. And anyway, your piece will be completely different to mine because you are you. Now here, why don't we do a little bit of a cross stitch ourselves into the satin. It's just so soft. Oops. You can't see it very much, but I can. Then up here. So I quickly learnt that wasn't worth the wool or the effort because you can't see it on, it's too similar to the satin. Okay, now we're here. Gosh, it's getting hot. Even though I haven't got my hands on direct blanket, I can just feel myself getting hotter. New South Wales, the kids go back, well, varying days, some tomorrow, some Friday, some Monday, and we always talk about it. You know, it can be freezing, but for the poor little ones, it often turns out to be February turns out to be the hottest month. And so everyone's fresh and ready and new uniforms, and they just swelter. So now that I've done that, you can see that if you want it subtle, choose a similar colour thread. I personally, when I come to do this flower, I'm going to go bolder, a deeper, maybe not that far, but a deeper pink. Because for me, this is just a little bit matchy-matchy, but it depends what you want. I'll go fast so that we can move on to something else. And in a piece like this, if you know that the sides are down, you don't actually have to go into the full bedspread, and certainly not into the padding at this point. Turn her over. Look at that beautiful crosswork colours. It's beautifully done. A little bit unusual probably, but very happy to have that in front of my eyes. There we go. Now let's go under. Let's just go, in fact, we'll just do an extra stitch there. Whew. Getting warm. Bury it. Oh, look at that. The snippies were there. So they're quite sharp. And surely to our cousin across the sea, maybe that's not the right to call New Zealand cousin, but I mean, we're similar. So hopefully they will be able to stay in there. Okay, what else have we got to do? We're going to do some embroidery here. I want to turn that flower, this petal, I love the raggy bit, but I want that to start becoming part of that flower. I've got the butterfly. I'm wondering where my gold is. Oh, here. I mean, that's an extra touch that I could feature on here, but not yet. I feel like I need to think about that. I could even gouache over there, and that blue. So the whole thing with this is that the owner hand washed this beautiful, beautiful piece, and the colours ran. So that blue is more pronounced than it would have been. We need something embellishing bits on here. I'm just looking around. What have I got? This is very much into patches at the moment as well. Little tiny square bits. That I could use somewhere. You can see my definition of straight is different to everybody else's. That's why I rip. You know, we could build up a little story with that gorgeous colour. I've got some trim there. So really, this is just playtime. did want to make a frill. Looking at this one, I just need something like that. Where do I keep? I came from Miss Rose's sister Violet. Is that the right order? Look at those bits. This is a fleur influenced piece. I like those tags. Haven't done tags for a while. Okay, lost in thinking. Let me just, I'm going to try one little move across here. I didn't find what I was looking for, but I did find that braid, which is very pretty. It doesn't gather up that yet, but once it's gathered, I could put some braid on there. So these become literally an expression of you. I could have a bit of mum with me. See how many times I've used frills on this one. I think that's, I have to say that's a Kate in the Nest thing, more and more. Okay, let's see, have I got something with a, I've got orange here, threaded. Would it matter? I don't think so. I'd love some of, oh, that is free. Okay. It's a bit too long. Doing everything in reverse. Let's do the knot. Oh, that's going to mix me up now. Oh, that is crazy, Kate. That's not going to work. So let's just make this a gather first. That's the scraggly end. Now sometimes I gather this as I put it on the fabric. This time I didn't because I was thinking about the knot. I'm hoping I haven't totally messed, oh there's the end. So even this up, little end for the, can stay for the moment. So we could put it that way, we could put it up like that way, but I like this way. Gosh, it's that green. Where's that green coming from? Yeah, so let's actually just plop that that spot. So I want to see a bit of a frill, and then if I put the braid over it, it sort of doubles it as well. Not exactly what I was after, but okay, here we go. We're just going to commit. Oh, I like that because if I put that little bit of pink down, I'm just doing an over stitch. Really, I just make it up because it doesn't matter in this style. In some it does. Here it's just the effect is what we're after. Have a little ruffle. So it's just popped into my mind before I go, I'm working on my next newsletter right now. So if you haven't subscribed and would like to get more news, it's just like a little personal email to you into your inbox. That'll come out early next week because it's always sort of the beginning of the week. It won't be on Sunday the 1st, but it should be close after that. So just, I'll put the link below, and I know it's a pain, but if you just, I just better anchor that gathering stitch. If you just go onto my website on the first page, there's just a little box there, and I collect your email and yeah, put you on the list. So it'll be just lovely to share some things, tell some stories. There we go. So that's a little frill there, and I could put some of that there along that gap, and then this butterfly is going to, because that's just pinned, is going to be flying through the sparkles of this onto that flower. So again, just adding texture and story. I could keep going and going and going, but that's what I'm going to do later tonight. So there, my friends, is the update on my Wellington collection. The pieces that I'm taking, I've got a little bit still to go, but I think I've got time to share them with you. So there we go. Mini makes with Scrappy Bits. Stay in tune, because when we make these things, you never know where they can pop up, and it's just an instant way to add colour and variety to your work. So that's going to be the pocket down there. I've got 3 little pockets. There's one in there that could be very, very snug and secure, maybe for this vintage cotton. Yeah, it's not too bulky, that one. I'll keep that thread out for later. I do want to embellish, get the butterfly down, put something across there, fold it up. Here's our needle keeper with there and spares. Close that up. She goes down. We have beautiful embellishment. There'll be a tie that goes around her, and we're working on the idea of a little pocket, or even not this color, but just that idea maybe. So that's what's in your hand. So wherever you go, it's like a snug snatchel. A snatchel. There we are. Is that a word? A snatchel. Look at that. I love that Chanel idea as maybe my wrap, because we're using, it's all things vintage quilting at the moment in my house. So thank you again, my friends. Have a happy rest of the day or night. Please take care. And as always, I so appreciate you watching. If you're just visiting, subscribe. My husband's been telling me that I don't say that enough. So if you like and subscribe, apparently that helps. So, and what is it called? It's a boosting sort of thing. Anyway, you might know more than I about that. But thanks anyway. I'll see you soon. Bye.